G. Indu from Department of ADS. I'm going to explain implementations of Kmeans clustering for customer segmentation. Let's see the objectives of Kmeans clustering, and then the program implementation and execution result and applications of clustering. So before going to explaining this code, let me recall the objectives of the experiment. First, this is to apply the K-means clustering to a data set of mall customers to identify distinct customer segments based on their annual income and spending score. By doing this, business can better understand customer behavior and develop targeted marketing strategies based on these segments. Let's see the program implementations of this code. So we implemented the program in Python using popular libraries like Pandas, Matplotlib, and sklearn. First, we loaded the mall customer CSV file dataset using Pandas, and then we selected the features annual income and spending score for clustering. To find the optimal number of cluster, we used the elbow method, which involves the plotting the WCS, that means within cluster sum of squares, for different values of k. Based on the elbow point in the graph, we selected 5 cluster. We applied the K-means clustering with n cluster equal to 5. Finally, we visualize the cluster data using a scatter plot coloring each cluster differently. Let's see the execution and result. When the program was executed, the elbow method plot helped us identify that 5 cluster is an optimal choice. The final scatter plot displayed 5 distinct groups of customers, each representing different income and spending patterns. Let's see the applications of clustering. The first one is market research, help in understanding trends and consumer behavior and anomaly detection, identify unusual patterns in banking and cybersecurity. And the third one is customer segmentation. Retail business can group customer to create personalized marketing and campaigns. First, after that, let's see the code. So import pandas as PD. First 3 lines, these 3 lines is panda. We used pandas, matplotlib, and Kmeans. First, pandas is used for data manipulation and reading CSV file, and the second one kplot, matplotlib as pyplot as PLT. It is used for plotting graphs. And the third one, we imported the K-means clustering. This means K-means clustering algorithm from sklearn. And then we loaded the data set, which is given mall customer. Load the customer data into a data frame called data. So this is the data it is given. And then we are going to display the first few rows. For that, we are using the data.head. And then we are showing the data info. So we are using the print data.info, and then we are checking the missing values, that means null values. These lines help understand the structure and cleanliness of the data sets. These 3 lines is used for the understand the structure and cleanliness of the data sets. Let's see elbow method, which is used to determine the optimal number of clusters. First, we know that WCSS is within cluster sum of squares, measures how close the data points or the center of the cluster, and then this, for this coding, the part 4 line tells that loop runs K-means from 1 to 10 cluster. So here I log selects only annual income and then the spending score. This line tells that we are going to select only the annual income and then the spending score, and then we are using the append values to list, append WCS values to list. Let's see why we are using the elbow method. To visualize the ideal number of clusters K, where WCSS starts to flatten the elbow point. So that's why we are using the elbow method in this program. So, and the next part is train K-means with the chosen number of clusters. So we are going to see this part. sorry, this we are going to plot the graph, so that we are using the plt.figure plot, and then x label, y we are labeling the x axis and then y axis, and we are giving the title of the program, and then we are using grid, and we are using plt.show, which is showing the graph. So here plots WCS versus number of clusters, helps to visualize the identify optimal number of cluster, usually where the elbow appears in your case k equal to 5. And then only we are coming to this part where it tells the n cluster equal to 5. Using 5 cluster from the elbow method, we are using the 5 clusters, and then fit predict, we are using the predict because fits the model and returns the cluster label for each data points. And then we are using the y predict, contains cluster number 0 to 4 for each customer. That's why we are using this to train the model. We are using the kpred, ypred, and then a fit predict, and then n cluster equal to 5. We are using a 5 clusters, and then add the cluster labels to the data sets. That means add a new column cluster to the original data set with assigned cluster number of each rows. And they are coming to the next part of the program, create data frames for each cluster. So this means that creates new data frame for each cluster for easier plotting analysis. For easier plotting, we are using this method, this way to implement our coding. So this will separate the data by clusters. So that's why we are creating the new data frames for each cluster. And the next one is visualize the cluster. This, it creates the 2D scatter plot with color coded cluster, where we used red, black, blue, and green, magenta. We are used as we wish. And then it shows how customer are grouped based on income and spending habits. Based on this only we are visualize the cluster. So that's why we are used this form, plt.scatter. Scatter means it shows the graph with scatter method. And then we came to the last part of our coding, which is plot formatting. It, we are as usual we are labeling it x label and y label, and then we are using the legend grid, and we are using show, which used to show our graph. So we are given title as for this program customer segments using Kmeans, and x label we are given as annual income, and y label we are given as spending score, and plt.legend as usual we are given as we give to other all programs. So finally, the summary of this code is segments customer using Kmeans cluster, and it helps visualize the groups like high income, high spenders, low income, low spenders, and moderate income, moderate spenders. It can be used for targeted marketing and customer strategy. That's why we are using it here. So let's run the code again. Let's see what the answer is coming now. So we can see the graph here, how it's roughly changes from one place to another. And then it's here cluster 0, we are differentiated into 5 cluster. It's here cluster 0 points out red, and 1 is point out for black, and then 1 is 2 for blue, and 3 is for green, and 4 is for pink. So we pointed the customer segments using Kmeans. We have pointed the scores. So that's it. Thank you.